right, so week 2 of the NFL season is coming to a close, and for the Chicago Bears, they started their week 2 off with a win against the Cincinnati Bengals. In this video, I'm going to give y'all my recap and what I saw during the game that helped the Bears get the win. So, let's get into it. What's up, guys? KT here, back at it with another video. Chicago Bears got their first win of their new campaign against the Cincinnati Bengals. So what I'm going to try to do this video is I'm going to try to recap what I saw and grade for each category, which goes for offense, defense, coaching. So starting off with the offense, it was a weird, well, I wouldn't say weird, it was unique to watch the offense. If you watched the game yesterday, you would know that Andy Dalton, he played a pretty good game in my opinion. Looking at his stats, he went 9 of 11. He had 56 yards, 1 touchdown. But midway through the second quarter, if I'm not mistaken, he was scrambling for about 15 yards, and when he tried to get out of bounds, he tweaked his knee. After that, Justin Fields was put into the game, and I wouldn't say Fields played bad, but he didn't play. He played like a guy that was inserted into the mid of a game without any practices with the reps and with the first team. He went 16 of 13, 60 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He had a quarterback rating of 27.7. But, you kind of expect that from a rookie that didn't get any reps with the starters. Offense was so excited. From what I saw when Fields was inserted into the game, they were so excited and so happy for him that it kind of threw the sync off of the offense. And what I mean by that is that they had a couple plays that kind of set back what they could have actually done with him in the game. I remember a couple plays that Robinson, dropped a couple passes and for touchdowns. Actually, there was one pass Fields threw 45 yards down the field. It landed right in Robinson's. It should have been caught. It was right there in the breadbasket, but it just went through his hands. Another one, he threw a jump ball in the red zone to Robinson. I mean, that was kind of a 50-50 ball. Chidobe Awuzie made a good play on it, but you expect your number one to come down with that. But I think over time, if Fields plays more with the ones, they'll get that sync down and they'll be good. Darnell Mooney had some drops as well, but overall he had a pretty good game. He had 6 receptions for 66 yards. He averaged 11 yards after the catch, but he also had a couple drop passes. There was one where he dropped one, he was running a little post route or crossing route, and he dropped it. That would have put them in the red zone. Then when they got into the red zone, Fields threw a pass to the corner of the end zone. And some people debated that the throw should have been executed better, but it hit him in the hands. He was trying to get the ball to where nobody else could get to it. Mooney just dropped it. So my point exactly about the offense, especially the quarterbacks right now, is that Dalton played a good game before he got hurt, and that kind of threw off the rhythm of the offense. Had those 2 touchdown passes been caught, had there not been many drops, and everything would have been in sync. There were a couple penalties that they had where Fields was snapping the ball and they just didn't get the ball to him. Had that not happened, I think he would have had a better day. Overall, the running game too was solid. David Montgomery had 20 attempts for 61 yards. He only averaged 3.1 yards per carry, but he was pretty effective, and he wore down the Cincinnati Bengals a little bit. Overall, the running game was all right. Dalton had a couple scrambles, which I personally shocked me. He looked like he was 20 years younger. It shocked me, but overall, the running game was all right. David Montgomery did his job. He was efficient. The receivers, they had an okay day. And one thing that really surprised me was that Cole Kmet only had 1 reception the entire game, and that 1 reception he had got called back by a bogus penalty to me. One thing I think they should fix is the tight ends. The tight ends need to get more involved in the game, especially in red zone situations. put Jimmy Graham like one-on-one with corners, and Cole Kmet going on inside routes. It make red zone efficiency much easier. Overall, I give the offense a C-. They only scored 13 points as a total because they didn't score again after that first touchdown that Dalton had to Robinson. They didn't score again until the fourth quarter when Cairo Santos hit 2 field goals. So overall, I think the offense deserves a C-. They weren't bad, but they weren't great. Now, the star of the show today, or yesterday, my apologies. Defense shined yesterday. If you watch the game, they were getting to Joe Burrow like it was easy to them. Roquan Smith is a monster. I've said this before, but he is a straight up monster. He's one of my favorite players on the Bears, and he just went off. In total, he had 5 solo tackles, 8 total tackles, and a pick 6. Not to mention he had a couple pass breakups and just showed overall good instincts. I believe one play he had a very good sack in which they sent him on like a stunt blitz where he just came out of nowhere and sacked Joe Burrow. So he had a good game. Robert Quinn also had a good game. He also recorded a sack and had 3 total tackles. But the pressure was just everywhere around Joe Burrow. Khalil Mack did what Khalil Mack did. He only got 1 sack. He only had 2 total tackles, but it's just the energy Khalil Mack brings. That game-wrecking mentality. They were planning to stop Khalil Mack, and they couldn't do it. One thing about defense, though. One negative that I saw. Duke Shelley he's a solid corner, great tackler, a good overall depth piece. But he cannot be your starting nickel corner. Too many plays we saw yesterday where guys were just getting open off of slant routes, post routes. Duke Shelley he's all right, but he shouldn't be your starting nickel corner. The Bears need to address getting a nickel corner. Whether that's calling up Thomas Graham, whether that's bringing back Marquis Christian, whether that's going out and signing one in free agency, we don't know. But that needs to be fixed as far as nickel corner goes. I thought Kildo Vildor played pretty good until those final 2 plays where he gave up touchdowns, but overall the game was basically over at that point. Jalen Johnson, one of my favorite players, he also had a good game, and he finally got that elusive interception he wanted. I think Joe Burrow, he was staring down T. Higgins, and Jalen just read his eyes from there, and he just jumped in front of the ball and just took it away from him. So overall, very good day for defense. Oh, Eddie Jackson also had a good day. He also rebounded from that bad game he had against the Rams. He forced a fumble, a very key fumble. And overall, the Bears had a lot of takeaways. They channeled that inner 2018 defense. We saw glimpses of it again. Sean Desai called a great game, which I'm going to get to when I do my coaching grades. Overall, defense, A+. Some people are going to say they gave up those 2 touchdowns, but that was at the end of the game. I give them A+. Coaching. Overall, Matt Nagy called a better game. I would have liked to saw some more parity when Fields was in the game. There was a couple plays, especially at the end of the game, where they were running the same concept, shotgun run, mesh point run, where the quarterback hands it off to the running back, and it got stuffed, and then Fields obviously throws the interception after that. There was a couple plays while Fields was in the game, in the middle of the game, like mid-third quarter, coming out at halftime. I would like to see more play action with him, use his legs more. Don't, let him sit back there in the pocket. But overall, I think Nagy called a pretty good game. He limited turnovers. They didn't really get chances to go 3 and out because the defense was just on point for them. They did exactly what they wanted to do. They managed the game good enough and let their defense carry them to greater heights. Sean Desai called an excellent game. Like I said, he was moving Khalil Mack around, which was one of those keys to the game. I put last week was to move the pass rushers around. There was one play they sacked Robert Quinn got a sack on Joe Burrow. If I'm not mistaken, Khalil Mack was on that same side, and they ran a stunt blitz. Khalil Mack was going on the edge, and Robert Quinn like looped into the middle, and the Bengals didn't see it coming. Joe Burrow gets hit. Alec Ogletree, he played good too. Sean Desai drew up a blitz for him, came right through an A gap, pressured Joe Burrow. He threw it into the air, and the big man, Angelo Blackson, came down with an interception. So overall, I think Sean Desai really had a bounce-back game after, he caught a lot of criticism for his game against the Rams. Overall, I give coaching a B+. I give the B+ more because of the defensive side of the ball, and only because the offense only scored 13 points. But Nagy, he wants to play like an efficient style of football, limit turnovers, so I can understand it. B+. Overall, I have to say my prediction was totally wrong. I actually predicted the Bears to lose this game, and that didn't go too well for me. I was completely shocked. But that's how it goes. Not every prediction is going to be spot on. They did some things I said they should do in the video, and they got the win. So, I think that somewhat covers it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you follow me on social media. The links will be down in the description. And I'm out. Peace.